Hi everybody, it's Luke from FootTech back with another video for grassroots coaches. This one's all about fitness. Fitness is something that it seems to be cropping up a little bit more over the last couple of years. We're speaking to coaches that are saying that their players seem to be less fit for a variety of reasons. You look at society, where they're not playing out as much as we were maybe when we were their age. There's a lot more screen time, a lot more technology that they can get their hands on, which means that they're going to be less active. A whole host of reasons. But there are some ways that you can help your players stay fit and get fitter by actually making it fun, okay? Not reverting to the old school ways. We often see around us sessions taking place where those old school ways are very much prevalent at their sessions. So kids in lines doing sprints, doing burpees, press ups, sit ups, and so forth. That, maybe at some point in life they have a place, but I'd always say that's probably going to be individual. If you've got your players, for sometimes some people listening to this and watching this, you might only have your players an hour a week plus a match. So what you do in that hour is so important. If you're wasting sort of 15, 20 minutes without a ball, then you've not really maximised the football time that you actually need in order for your players to get better. So we're going to talk about a few tips today that will help you increase the fitness of your team, but keep it fun as well. And a lot of this links back to a thing that's been coming up recently with the Bielsa Leeds United and how fit they've been. And a lot of people talk about his murder ball activity at training where he splits them up 11v11 and it's just a constant game. The balls are in play all the time, very limited stoppages, and clearly it's been working because Leeds, certainly last season, one of the fittest teams in the Premier League. So how can we use that to help our players? And it's something that we've been doing for quite some time at FootTech, and we see that the players love it. The players love the fact that with these things we're about to say, the players really leave our sessions sweating and smiling, which is what we want. So tip one would be small-sided, okay? So if, regardless of what format you play, if you can have a part of your training session, maybe the matches at the end, where it's a 2v2, a 3v3, or a 4v4, naturally, those players are going to be working a little bit harder because they've got to. There's no one else on the pitch for them to rely on. The numbers are limited. So if you can limit the numbers, then they're going to have to do more. They're going to have to move more. Naturally, they're going to get fitter from that and fitter for football, which is what we want. Tip number two would be exactly Bielsa-esque, would be constantly have balls in play. So if a ball goes out for a throw-in, goes out for a corner, whatever it might be, just scrap that, have some balls in your hand and just roll them back in, okay? Whoever needs the ball, whoever's ball it's going to be, just roll it to them and keep it moving, keep it constant all the time. If you've got the luxury of having an assistant coach, they can do the same thing. Just have the balls in your hands all the time, rolling them back in, and also around the field. So you'd have just balls dotted around everywhere. So if a ball does go out of play, a player can just quickly get it, dribble it back in and play on, okay? Tip number three would be no fouls. Now, bear with me on this one. So what we found recently is that we've been blowing up less for fouls at a session. And we're not talking here about the big incidents, and serious foul play. But a lot of the time, a lot of people listening to this, you'll know that your players don't deliberately foul. They don't mean to foul. It's because they just don't know how to tackle yet. They're still learning the game. So it's a mistimed tackle. It's just a case of an accident. So we don't blow for them anymore. And the children, it's been great, not just from a keeping the ball in play, keeping the ball moving perspective, but also it's been great because we've seen that the children are policing things themselves. It's gone back to that street style that we really like. They're policing it themselves. If it's a big incident, obviously, yeah, we'll stop it and we'll have a foul, a penalty, whatever. But a lot of the time, they're just picking themselves back up and getting on with it. It's also preventing things like rolling on the floor like they see on a Saturday on Match of the Day or a Sunday on Sky Sports. They're up, they're playing again, and it's just creating a little bit of resilience as opposed to us blowing for every little incident when they fall over. But what it does from a fitness perspective is that it keeps that ball in play again. It just keeps things moving, so they're constantly on the move and they're getting fitter for football. So just those three things there, small-sided games, keeping the ball in play as much as possible and having them rolling back in as much as possible, and then not blowing for fouls. Those three things we found, the players are leaving happier, they're leaving sweating, smiling, like I said before, which is what we want from it. But fundamentally, they're getting fitter for football. Anyone watching this that used to play, you'll know when you came back from, say, an injury and you'd been out for a few weeks, you might have done all the individual fitness work you could have done, running at home, jogs, sprints, hill sprints, burpees, press-ups, whatever, getting to the gym. But football fitness was very different. No matter what you'd done away from the football, you were still blowing during that game because it's very different. It's a very different style of fitness. So what do we need to do to combat that? We need to play football. So the more that these kids are playing, by you conditioning it in the way that we've discussed there, you're actually going to increase their fitness for football. They're going to be fitter when they're on the football pitch. Not just that. The main thing is they're going to enjoy it. The ball's going to be in play more. There's going to be limited stoppages, limited moaning about little incidents. And they're going to leave happy, which is what it's about. It's about them having fun. So if they're getting fitter without knowing it, they're getting plenty of touches of the ball because you've got the small-sided element to it, and they're going to leave happy. That's the main thing. Hope that helps, guys. Any questions, just drop us a line. Very simple one today, but as we always say, these things don't need to be overcomplicated. We can take some of the better things from elsewhere and apply them to grassroots and to the players that we're working with. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon.